This is Selling Susquehanna with Lisa Barrick, your guide to the heart of Pennsylvania real estate.
Welcome back to Selling Susquehanna. I'm Chad Evans inside the Stone State studio alongside Lisa Barrick, real estate professional guru extraordinaire.
Did we just come up with that?
Off the top of my head.
Pick it up. Yeah, good job.
I'm on my third cup of coffee, so my brains are working in extra gear right now.
I'm thinking that we're probably pushing into your tea time.
Well, yes, every day people push into my tea time.
All right, chop, chop.
Yeah, let's get it going.
Get this episode done.
All right, pay attention because this is going to be quick. All right. So, Selling Susquehanna, we encourage people to ask Lisa questions through her social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. It's all anonymous. You bring in your question and Lisa will answer it right here on the spot.
Unless you don't want to be anonymous, if you want some,
if you want to drop your name in there.
If you want some, name drops, we'll be happy to drop your name.
Well, we do want to let you know that Lisa is a professional in the real estate industry. She works with Remax Bridges out there in Lewisburg. Yep. And how's the season going on so far? Here we are in summertime now.
It's busy.
Is it
busy? Yeah, no, it's been really good. It's been a really great season. So
a lot of people selling homes? Or what's going on? Do we have inventory? What's happening?
I mean, we still need more inventory. There's a lot of buyers out there. So obviously, if people are selling, people are buying. Definitely there's certain markets where we really have a shortage. And I actually just put out a message to my office the other day, like, is anybody going to be listing a 4-bedroom, blah, 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 Lewisburg schools, this price range, whatever, because we just don't have them. And you have people who need to get into a house. We're coming into July and kids are going to be starting school and everybody wants to enroll their kids in, whatever school district, whatever market. So, so we definitely, if you're ready to sell your house, let's do it now.
Good to know. All right, question number 1, delivered to us anonymously through your social media channels. It says, the seller of the house I am buying is downsizing, and I would like to ask for some of their furnishings as part of the offer. Apparently, there's a nice couch there that this person likes. They go on to say, I think it will make my offer stand out and be appealing to the seller because it will reduce the stress as they are trying to downsize. My agent told me I cannot include those things in the offer, but she didn't know why.
Oh.
Do you? Can you? Of course you can, right?
No. Well, sorry. It depends. Like most of my answers.
Yeah.
It depends. If you're making a cash offer, if you're not doing any financing, you can ask for whatever you want. It doesn't really matter because there's no lender involved or there's no underwriter involved.
So if you're writing a check, you could ask for whatever you want.
Exactly. Yeah. However, in the majority of cases, people are getting financing. So underwriters do not want to see what is called chattel. So chattel is stuff.
That was my nickname in high school. Chattel.
It was probably spelled a little differently, but that makes sense. Yeah. So you're just a bunch of stuff.
Well, there you go. It tracks.
So it's, furniture, mirrors, decor, whatever. It's not fixtures of real estate. So things that are typical that go along with a home, like the appliances, those are okay to stay. The pool and spa equipment, if you have those things. Even you can get away with pool tables because they're so difficult to get out of houses that a majority of sellers want to leave them. And typically they'll be okay with that being on the actual agreement of sale. But anything beyond that, they don't want to see it. Reason being, the underwriter needs to see that the value of the purchase price and thus the loan that they are giving,
trying to acquire,
not really giving, is in the real estate, the real property, the structure and the real estate, because that's their That's their equity, basically. That's their security, I should say.
Not the cool 70s beanbag in the corner.
Exactly right. That's basically worthless.
Yeah.
So that if you don't pay, they've got something that they're holding that they has value that they can then try to recoup their investment. So all that furniture and stuff like that, if you start littering up an offer with all those items, the underwriter sees a red flag because they start seeing how much of this purchase price is going towards the value of this real estate versus the value of all this stuff. So they don't want to see that. So either you take it off or you're going to have to adjustment or you're going to have to do a bill of sale or something totally separate. Now, when you do commercial sales, things like that are very typical.
Right.
And it is all those kinds of things. So say you're buying a retail store and there's inventory that's going to go with the sale. All those kinds of items go on a separate bill of sale. They still don't go on the, now they actually want to sit, but that's a whole other can of worms. So I won't get into that. But that is the reason why you can't put all that stuff in. Now, for that person who thinks it'll make my offer stand out, it will, but not necessarily in a positive way. So I have multiple sales right now that are all involving the separate sale of items, furniture and stuff like that. Why that is happening so much this season, I have no idea. But I don't love getting involved with it because, first of all, I tell both clients, or if I'm dealing with a co-broke agent, whatever, I don't sell stuff. I'm not eBay. That's not, I'm not Marketplace. That's not my thing.
Right.
I will convey a message from one party to the other. You can make an offer to buy. We would like these things if you're interested. Or the seller says, I'm interested in getting rid of these things. This is what I'd sell them for. Other party, you say yes or no. And after that, I'm done. I'm not negotiating. I'm not telling you what your couch is worth.
Right.
I don't care. I mean, that's just not my thing. I will help facilitate just to make either party's lives easier and make it a simpler transition to make everybody happy, happy, joy,
which is
joy.
your job.
Yeah, but I'm not negotiating that
Yeah.
stuff. That's not going to happen. So
to heck with the coffee table. You don't need it.
Exactly. Well, the other part of it, though, is, again, with the person that thinks like, oh, to make my offer stand out, some people think it's creepy. Like, they just think it's weird.
Oh.
Like, they want my stuff? What? That's my stuff.
Well, maybe it is kind of creepy.
Like, I mean, I have people who want like the decor on the walls. If they don't want those pictures, guessing they probably want their artwork. If they don't want those mirrors, whatever. Now, it depends. If it's like an estate sale, like you're selling parents, family members' house, you might be interested in doing stuff like that because a lot of times then people have to have auctions or have auctioneers come in and take everything out. So that might be a situation. But in general, most people are taking their stuff with them to their next, abode. So, I mean, it can be done, but don't put it in your offer. Wait till, this is what I tell my buyer clients if they ask me to do that. I say, let's get the sale together first. That the actual home, that's the most important thing here. And after that, if there are items that after we do the inspections and we negotiate anything from that, all those contingencies, then we can say, hey, by the way, the buyer is interested in, these kinds of things if there's anything you don't want. And then we can discuss it. And sometimes it works out, whatever. But I don't even want to hear about all that stuff until all the contingencies are removed. We have much more imperative things to deal with.
Much more.
Until that, And if you can't get their stuff, you're going to survive.
Okay.
So I think I said that was going to be a short answer.
That was a pretty short answer for you. That was pretty short. Question number 2. But you did really well with that answer.
We have 25 questions this episode.
Sit tight. There goes my... can you call my buddies and say I won't be able to make the tea time? Question number 2, Lisa.
Yes.
Again, anonymously. I want to write a love letter. Oh. I want to write a love letter to the sellers of the house my fiance and I are making an offer on. Okay, so they want to write a love letter. My agent said it isn't a good idea, but didn't really offer an explanation. Do you think writing a letter is a bad idea? I want this house, and I think if the sellers know how much we love it, they will choose our offer over others, even if we cannot afford to pay as much as other buyers. So they're trying to like get the emotional heartstrings. Like, your porch is what I have dreamed of my entire life.
We
and
picture ourselves with our family.
First of all, no one's writing letters anymore.
Oh, yeah, they are.
No.
Oh, these letters. Yeah. These are the only letters anybody writes.
Come on.
They won't write you a thank you note, but they'll write this.
Your kitchen, my God. Can we just please now? We don't have that extra 50 grand, but
Right.
you know us,
right.
and you're good people.
Yeah.
So do you write a letter?
There are a lot of things actually built into this question. First of all, from this question and the prior question, why aren't these agents telling their clients why they're giving them these instructions? They should be explaining it. But anyway, that's a whole nother tangent. So this at one point, and this is actually going back quite a few years, like, pre-COVID, as we all like date things according to to the pandemic. Buyers wrote love letters because they thought it would entice a seller to, it's exactly what you said, pull on their heartstrings. Let's just be matter of fact here. It sounds really cold harder, but dollars and cents and terms, timing, contingencies. Those are the things that matter in an offer. Now, if you write them a letter, I mean, some sellers are going to be like, oh, well, ain't that sweet? This person's paying cash. We're taking that offer. Yeah. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. I mean, it's coming from it's coming from a good place, but it's not necessarily going to work.
Right.
The other thing is actually the head counsel for the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors has been an advocate for not doing this for many, many years. And the reason being, you have to be really careful about what kind of things you write. If you write about things that, how do I explain this? Sort of identify you as a person from a cultural perspective, or from a religious perspective, or from a familial type perspective, things like that are under the fair housing guidelines, stuff like that. You're unintentionally maybe you're talking about yourself and your morals and things like that, and things about this home for some reason that maybe align with those. They might not be appropriate things to talk about in a real estate transaction, which your letter now becomes part of a transaction, sort of, It's not something that gets signed or anything, but it's now a piece. It's a documented piece of this transaction. It serves as part of the paper trail in a transaction. So if you start talking about, say, for religious reasons, I see that you guys are certain thing, or cultural or ethnic. I see that you guys are, and that appeals to us because no, we don't talk about the people. But a lot of people do that in their letters. So, and again,
I see.
Comes from a good place. It's
sure
not intentional, but it could be seen as a violation of fair housing in the end, especially if you get into situations where maybe there's multiple offers. Nobody should know about that letter, but we are under guidelines of the National Association of Realtors. The clients aren't. So people talk.
Okay.
And things come out, and there have been issues, or like a seller doesn't like that perspective for some reason. So anyway, I had somebody recently who said something to me about like, should I write a letter? And I said, probably better that you don't. And they're like, well, why? And I explained that to her. And she said, well, I'm not going to say anything like that. And she said, I'm just going to talk about that I've been looking for, okay. I said, if you make it completely generic and not really describing you as a person.
Yeah.
Or them as a person. Don't talk about the decor. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I said, it's probably okay. But at the end of the day, it's still not going to do anything.
Right.
It's going to be all about the money.
You can make any recommendation you want, but people are going to do whatever they want.
Yeah, but I don't have to submit it.
Yeah. So if I send a love letter to a house that I want to buy and a picture with me and a dog with a broken leg, and I said, hey, listen, my dog with this broken leg just loves your first floor. Can't get up the steps, can't go down the steps, the first floor, and we've just been looking for a house like this for a gazillion years. Can you help us? And I have $2,000. It wouldn't work, right?
No, because that dog's not covered under any kind of fair housing, unless it's a dog that you're using for assistance reasons.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's a whole...
I'll make note of that.
That's a whole nother...
But I'm currently not in the market.
Can of worms.
Great question.
Except for your cabin.
Except for the cabin, which we got to work on. And I'm back on the cabin trend now. I kind of want one now. It's that time of year. You know what I mean?
Pretty sure there's somebody else you need to talk to about that.
We're working that out.
Yeah.
More ways than one. Thank you for your question, anonymous person. Here's question number 3. We'll make this short because they went on and on and on about this one.
Sorry.
Lisa, do you encourage your buyers to ask for every little nitpicking item in a home inspection report to be fixed? Every little one?
No.
No?
No. First of all, when you made an offer on this house, unless it's an estate situation or a foreclosure or something like that, you received a seller's property disclosure statement that basically the seller disclosed any material, structural, environmental, things like that, facts that they know about the property that you need to be aware of. Mm-hmm. So this is a long answer. Just warning you.
Okay, bring it home.
Well, so first of all, the home inspection, I mean, many of the home inspectors know that I kind of harp on this. I want a clean inspection report in terms of I want it to identify issues with the property, I mean, material facts, but also any deficiencies. I want that identified. Anything that is really absolutely needs to be fixed right now. Or high radon levels, if people are concerned about
mold?
That.
Is mold a thing?
Mold, if there is active mold, we have to do more investigation into that and testing to see what it is exactly. There's a leak coming through the ceiling. There's active leaks somewhere, things of that nature. Those are the things we need to know about, because there are a lot of hidden things like that people don't even realize is going on in their home necessarily. And you think to yourself, how could people not know? Just wait. When your home is inspected, they might find things that you're like, well, I don't know. It's always been like that and it was always fine. Septic systems. Most of the time, unless it's really bad, in which case the seller should have done something about it already. Unless it's really bad, most of the time sellers have no idea that there's something wrong with their septic system because it hasn't literally surfaced yet. But the inspector goes in and runs the camera down and discovers the pipes are separated. It just hasn't risen to surface level yet.
The cream hasn't rose
exactly.
to the top.
It's kind of gross. But anyway, so things like that, those we need to know about because those are deficiencies that we're going to need to negotiate. Right. Little piddly things that come up on an inspection report.
Like what?
I reviewed an inspection report that was done for somebody else's client. Third step from the top squeaks when you step on it.
Okay.
The house was built in 1966.
Yeah.
Things are going to squeak. Houses settle, houses shift, ground moves around it. Things happen that are beyond any of our control.
Nerve of them.
Yeah. I mean, so, and they're also built so that they can kind of expand, contract, move around.
Breathe.
I mean, right, exactly. Otherwise, when you got a windstorm come through, your house is going to blow over, But anyway, I am not a structural engineer. However, I know just enough. So, little things, there's a torn corner of the carpet.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we probably saw that, but that's a cosmetic issue. That's not something. So, but I'm pretty choosy on the inspectors that I encourage my buyers to use. I don't have the choice of who my buyer uses. They can use whoever they want to use. I make suggestions. They make decisions.
Okay.
But I do base that on ones who don't omit things that are important, but don't fill it up with a bunch of junk. Because I don't run it riddled with that. The issue is that, particularly for a first-time buyer who's really nervous, and really maybe doesn't know a whole lot about maintaining a home, they see these things and they're like, oh, what does this mean? Oh my gosh, there's one breaker that needs to be replaced. What does that mean?
Yeah.
There's an electrical problem? Oh my God, is there going to be a fire? No, one breaker needs to be fixed. It's like a $60 fix.
Yeah.
One GFCI needs to be installed. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. Now, if you need those things fixed because your financing program would require it, we can ask for it to be fixed, or we can ask permission for you to go in ahead of time and fix it.
Deal.
Whatever.
Done.
But I just don't want them filled up with like a bunch of junk. So, but do I have them ask for every nitpicking thing? Absolutely not. If there are some major things that need to be dealt with, I just dealt with this I'm selling a friend of mine house, and there's some major issues that needed to be dealt with. And so I said to her, these are the things that I identified from your inspection report. I always, when I'm working with the buyer, I always review the whole inspection report when it comes in writing. And then I email them with my list. These are things I found that you might want to consider when you're doing your reply to inspections. It's an addendum that goes to the seller. So I'm not telling you to ask for every one of these things, but these are the more important things that are glaring to me that you need to at least be aware of and think about your budget. Which things can I absorb myself and which things do I need to ask for? If there's something major, a septic system, usually radon mitigation people want done, termites, big things, a roof, big things, we're going to ask for those. But all this little stuff that you can handle on your own, we're not going to ask for all that stuff. We need to deal with the major big ticket
The priorities.
items. Exactly.
The priorities.
So that's how I focus it. So my goal is not to submit a buyer's reply to inspections addendum that has a whole huge laundry list of items. I don't like to do that. Again, I make suggestions. My clients make the ultimate decisions. So do I have a choice if my buyer client, because I'm not the only one advising them.
Yeah, it's not your call.
Yeah. And sometimes, even though I'm the one that's guiding them through this process ultimately, and the one with the background and the knowledge, the people that they really trust in their lives, parents, siblings, significant other, whatever, sometimes they're going to listen to them more than they're going to listen to me.
Sure.
And they may ask for things that are just not appropriate. But anyway, so if they come to me and say, but my dad said I have to do this or whatever, I'm going to tell them what I think. I'm going to do whatever they want.
But you're just out there trying to make a quick buck.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're just trying to move on with the sale.
There are some sales that I would rather the parties walk away from. After you've been in this business long enough, I know, you're like, I struck a nerve. After you've been in this business long enough, you're not afraid to walk away from a sale or have your client walk away from a sale. So if it's not going to be right and you just feel like it's not going to be right, even if you think both parties are being ridiculous, still, you're like, this is just not gonna, this is just,
It's just not going to work.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
I'd rather either or both parties walk away and move on to something else than be miserable at the end. And you know what? Who are they going to be mad to at the end of the mad at the end of the day? You know,
Okay.
I didn't make those choices. But so all I can do is advise. Yeah.
But you want to have a good time doing it, and you want to have a pleasurable experience with both clients, buyers and the sellers.
8% of the time, I do.
Yeah.
I do. And it's an enjoyable experience.
Of course.
Yeah. I've been working with a whole bunch of great people like lately. Like this spring and summer has been really great. I keep hitting this microphone.
That's okay. If you break it, you buy it.
But yeah, I've been working with like just really great people who have really worked with me. And many of them have been through some really trying experiences in the process of selling them their houses. Things have come up that they were not expecting. Suddenly, dollars you think you're going to walk away with are going out the window because very big ticket items, and they've all been pretty gracious about it and dealt with it. And
knock on wood.
I
so
deliver
far, so
it
good.
as well as I can, but at the end of the day, when it costs $15,000, it costs $15,000, and there's nothing I can do about that. But people have been very gracious, so it's been good.
Well done with that answer to that question. Fourth and final question.
They're asleep.
Yeah, our producers out there. Here's your final question. It says, anonymously delivered through your social media channel. It says, we are so frustrated with house hunting. This is a great question. We're so frustrated with house hunting. We cannot find a house that suits us in our price range. Surprise, surprise. We are thinking now that we should just buy land and build. It will probably be cheaper, and we will get exactly what we want. What do you think about that? And they said, P.S., this is our first home.
Good luck.
Oh.
All right,
shots fired. Shots fired.
That came out way snarkier than what I meant. So there's just the reality of it. And this is from someone who, my very first house, we built.
Yeah, same.
Well, I didn't build it,
Well, we know
I
that.
was out there.
Yeah, telling them what to do.
But anyway, yeah, we had it built. But it was a situation where we were fortunate enough to be the recipients of the parcel that it was being built on.
Same.
Yeah. So it makes a very big tens of thousands of dollars difference, So, we were young, and that was something that we were able to, we were blessed to get that. So we also built where there was public water and sewer. So, pretty easy peasy, just connect and we pay,
hook it up and go.
$1,000 and whatever. So if you're starting from scratch, and I'm not telling you not to do it, in most cases, you kind of want to be a little bit more established and have some time to, look for the land that's going to be right for you. Buying land right now is tough.
Why is that?
It is tough. There's just not much available. There is just not much. When it does, this is a big agricultural community, and there's a very large demographic that makes their living off of agriculture. So they're not real willing. Every acre is supporting their family.
There's a seed planted.
Exactly right.
Every single square inch.
Exactly right. So there's some land that I actually quite frankly would love to buy just a few acres of, and my significant other is like, he is not going to sell that to you because he's a farmer and that's his living. And I'm like, oh. But, that's the reality of it. So anyway, it doesn't, necessarily come up very often, particularly larger parcels that could be developed. So you'll see that there's not a whole heck of a lot of new development going on around here.
Okay.
And some people will be advocates for that. Other people who are coming in and want to buy new homes, there's a real lack of new homes to buy,
Yeah.
So, but if you're just looking for a piece of land for yourself, first of all, it's probably going to be more expensive than you're anticipating.
Yes.
If it has connections to public utilities, it's probably going to be considerably more expensive than you're anticipating. I mean, you're probably, well, it depends what market you're in. You're looking at upwards of $100,000 probably in a lot of the markets if you're looking for like, an acre or something like that, even half an acre. But anyway, most of the time you're going to find kind of random parcels, and you're going to require an on-site septic system and a well. An on-site septic system can cost you anywhere from $30,000 up, depending what kind of parcel you're buying. If you're buying something that's in the mountains, if you're buying, depending on the layout, and I'm not going to get into that, what kind of system it is, and these systems have gotten really, the mechanics or whatever.
Pretty elaborate.
They've gotten very elaborate. They're very they're like computers going into the, it's like when I see the guts of what the actual system is, I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, it's not just a pipe in a bucket.
It's pretty amazing, but it's expensive. Very expensive. So anyway, so you have that right there. You got to dig a well, probably looking at $10,000 to dig a well on average. And then you forget about things like excavation costs to even get the lot to where it can be built on, where you can set a foundation. And then people forget how much just the foundation is going to cost. So it's not necessarily a cheaper prospect. And in fact, it might cost you a lot more. Depending what type of an existing home you've been looking at, more than likely, dollar per square foot, you're going to pay higher, much more for new construction.
New build.
Because material costs are still up.
Yeah.
They still are up. They've gone down a little bit since, again, pandemic. I hate to mention it, but it's done a lot to our economy, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but they went down a little bit, and now they're going back up again, and we got all kinds of world events that cause those things. It's not cheap, and builders can only do so much to cut those costs. Labor costs are up. Just to keep people working for you costs more. The cost of fuel.
Yeah.
That is driving a lot of it. For them to just start up their equipment, start their trucks to even get, it's costing them so much more money. So everything is really...
Do your research.
It's really
Do your
pricey.
research.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you think it's going to be cheaper than actually buying a home.
Yeah. And if you can do it, by all means, go ahead and do it. But just, I wouldn't say it would be cheaper.
Yeah. Just
definitely not.
Be cautious.
Yes.
Do your research.
Absolutely.
I have one more question.
Absolutely. Uh-oh.
Friend of mine.
Yes.
Him and his wife are ripping out their carpet in their master bedroom.
Oh, okay.
And the wife went to an auction and bought hardwood flooring.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty common. Well, for some people, it's common.
Would the value of my friend's home
Yes.
go up if there's hardwood floor in the master bedroom as opposed to carpet?
Not necessarily. It makes it more appealing, though. It makes it more appealing, and it would probably sell faster, and you would probably, when you say, will the value go up? I say no. However, there's a chance that if you were selling the house, that you would get much closer to your list price than you would if somebody had to do something with that flooring. At the end of the day, I'm going to support the person who is advocating for this new flooring because that is something that appeals to the market today and is going to make probably their home life a lot happier.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, Lisa. We really appreciate it. It's Selling Susquehanna, where you get to submit your own questions through Lisa's social media channels,
Tara, you can pay me
Facebook
later.
and Instagram. So please go ahead and submit your questions to Lisa, and she'll answer those questions right here on this program. Now, what are you going to do? What do you have to do today?
I was going to follow you to the golf course.
All right, we're on. All right. Sounds good to me. Inside the Stone State studio. And next time, we're going to be talking about data centers.
Oh, gosh, no.
Next time, we'll see you soon with Selling Susquehanna. For Lisa Barrick, I'm Chad Evans. Thanks for watching.